Okay, so some other stuff I do, and I've shown this kind of stuff before, but I always like going back over it, if for nothing else than to reinforce it in my own mind. And that is when I'm also practicing how to push from the root and develop my timing. I recognize, especially when I'm practicing on my own, that the most important aspect is this: I gotta be able to drive the power from the ground through the legs. I mean, there's just no way around it. I see too many people where they're so caught up into throwing punches, but they're really throwing a lot of punches with their arm. I see this in a lot of traditional martial arts, no disrespect, I'm just telling you. I see a lot of traditional martial arts where people look great, but most of their power is wasted because they're so concentrated on a nice snap with their arm that they're forgetting about that sudden drop from the hip and from the shoulder rotating. And so they look good, they sound good when they're, striking with their nice crisp gi, but there's really no power in what they're doing. So I'm all about using weighted objects to help train. I don't care. I think that anyone who is not using weighted objects in their training to help develop their movement, they're really selling themselves short. So what I do is I'm going to show you, I've done this before, where I take, ye old sledgehammer and I bring it up just above my head and I bring it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push off this rear leg. And as I'm pushing, I'm trying to drop into this before the hammer gets parallel to the ground. And then because I'm rooted on the forward leg and on the ball of the foot, I'm going to push back and go to the original position. So it's push, 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 push. And the whole time what I'm trying to do is, I'm just trying to get that timing. And some people say, well, why would you do that? And so when I'm standing here like this, and all of a sudden I drop in and I open your face up, you'll have your answer. I have every intention of putting my fist right through your skull, right through your spine, kind of like Mortal Kombat, pull the spine out and throw it, or whatever the case may be. The point is developing that timing, that explosiveness, where I kind of look almost like Elvis here. What I'm doing is I'm pushing from the root and I'm practicing, learning how to hit with supernatural speed. Saw a great video actually the other day of a Kung Fu guy. And Grandmaster Perkins used to do this, where he actually would rotate his shoulders and hips so fast, and he would almost sometimes slap his own body. Sometimes he would be here. And I realized over the years, part of the reason Grandmaster Perkins did that was because he realized in pulling that arm back suddenly, it gave a lot of power and torque to the rotation of his hips and shoulders as he was driving from the ground, and that's what gave him a lot of times a lot of force, but also kind of appeal like he was moving at supernatural speed. For those who've experienced it, I'm talking, well, he'll be standing here like this, and boom, and he'll be moving in a very relaxed manner, throwing your timing off, and all of a sudden he's just starting to wail on you. Sometimes he'll even be like this, and he'll push and he'll kick and he'll drop it in, and you can see that rotation in the hips and shoulders. And what he's doing is no different than a boxer who, all of a sudden he drops that jab in. It's the same motion. And you even see this with boxers where as they're rotating, they won't pull their hand back as far, but you can see that rotation in the hips and shoulders. A lot of good stuff. I'm a big fan of boxing, by the way. They know stuff that, in my opinion, a lot of them don't even know they know. Really good stuff. My point is, as you're practicing these different things, anything that you can do that can enhance your body's ability to do the thing you want to do, whether it's using a weighted object, whether it's pushing off the ground. Sometimes I'll actually use a board and I'll measure it off where I'm going to push from the root, dropping straight down the board and then striking, with the idea of focusing on, as I'm landing, really dropping my weight, getting that plyometric effect, pushing back against the ground, but also ensuring that as I'm stepping, that I'm always staying on balance. So there's a lot of things you can do. I'll continue to explore these things so that as I build on the what if videos, you're going to see how those things apply when you got to really go on a person should somebody try to attack you.